The Biden economic policies of printing money, passing multi-trillion-dollar packages on top of our national debt, we're already seeing the effects of that. The price of milk, orange juice, bread, gasoline. I mean, this is Bidenomics right now. And I don't think Americans or Georgians want this.
Okay, guys, so if you've ever found yourself, purchasing a headlamp and you just found one that just didn't fit your head, I'm with you. I've had the same thing. This is a headlamp I got a couple years ago, and it works, but it just doesn't fit me quite right. I didn't follow John's advice. I didn't go to sportsmansguide.com and use code WARPOD at checkout. I probably could have gotten a headlamp that was a little more snug, a little more my style, a little more my speed. And I mean, yeah, this works in the coal mines, but does it work on the battlefield? It hasn't been battlefield tested. I don't know. Are the lumens right? All these are questions that you can get answered at sportsmansguide.com. So if you need a new headlamp, if you need some kind of camping equipment, head on over. Use code WARPOD at checkout. And don't go to the wrong places. Get the right things.
All right, what's happening, folks? I'm in Noonan, Georgia, participating in a fun shoot. It's a fundraiser for Senatorial Candidate Latham Saddler. He's running for U.S. Senate in the state of Georgia. But what this video is about is interviewing all these patriots. They got skin in the game. They're paying to be here to shoot guns to basically raise money for the cause. I want to ask these patriots, great Americans here, what's gone the most wrong with America in their opinion, and what in the world do we do to fix it, right? So let's shoot some guns and have some fun and learn. I've been asking all the folks out here while they've been shooting. I've been harassing your people, asking what are the biggest internal issues that America's facing right now. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think one is the border, and that's especially important now after we've given Afghanistan back over to terrorists. Now, in a matter of 8 months, the Biden administration has made sure that Afghanistan is run by terrorists and that we have an open border. And I remind Georgians on the trail that the official number of undocumented folks in this country is 11 million people. The actual number is probably higher, but that's the population of our state. Georgia is just under 11 million people, and we don't know who they are, where they came from, and what they're doing here. And we got to stop the bleeding at the border. There's no excuse for it, and I look forward to getting up there and getting that done.
Also, I believe that you would. What are some other issues? You mentioned the border. What's some other elephants in the political room?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Biden economic policies of printing money, passing multi-trillion-dollar packages on top of our national debt, we're already seeing the effects of that. Number one, inflation. I mean, the price of diapers has gone up. My wife and I are feeling it ourselves. We've got a baby with diapers, but the price of milk, orange juice, bread, gasoline. I mean, this is Bidenomics right now, and I don't think Americans or Georgians want this. And the interesting thing about his economic plan is that it hurts the lower class the most. They claim to help the lower class, but those rising prices hurt the lower class the most, and all of us feel the effects of Bidenomics right now.
What's the solution?
The solution is to stop printing money, stop throwing money at government institutions unnecessarily, and less regulation, lower taxes. And what I find so interesting, John, right now is we just saw what happened in Afghanistan. Complete debacle, but one element of that debacle was leaving billions of dollars of military equipment over there. You and I both know. And
what's the justification for that?
I mean, there's just none. There's none. You or me, I mean...
What's the thought process? How is it possible that happened?
I mean, I think the fundamental issue right now, John, is the people that are up there that make up the Biden administration they're in la la land, and they see the world the way they want it to be rather than the way it actually is. And you and I both know it's a dog-eat-dog world out there, and it's dangerous not to be clear-eyed about the threats out there and how to handle them. And when I think about all that equipment that we just left to our adversaries, guess who paid for that?
Yeah, the tax.
You and me and all the American taxpayers. And that's good stewardship of American tax dollars, and now at the same time they actually want to raise taxes on all of us.
And meanwhile, while we're giving weapons to the Taliban, we are picking on the American citizen about gun control. How do you feel about the Second Amendment?
Oh, I mean, if there's ever a case, I tell folks on the trail, if there's ever a case for the Second Amendment, it's 2020.
Yeah.
You've got good Americans defending their small business and getting ripped out of their shop by the left mob and getting curb stomped. You've got good Americans being surrounded by mobs and being yanked out of their cars and trampled and beat up. I mean, there's a reason that we have the Second Amendment. It's to defend ourselves, and it cannot be infringed upon. And I will always defend our Second Amendment rights.
I didn't mention a very important bullet point for you, national security. What have you done for national security?
Yes, so I've been blessed during my time in the military where I got to serve on both ends of the national security spectrum. On one end, obviously, you've got the execution of U.S. foreign policy on the ground. That's what, folks that are operators are out there doing right now. I love doing that. But then my last assignment on active duty after 8 years was in the Trump White House as the Director for Intelligence Programs, managing the Black Ops portfolio. So the small set of missions that require POTUS approval, I was that guy at the White House that made the recommendation to the National Security Advisor whether or not we should go out on those missions. So I've been at the decision-making table. And, I'm able to make the case that Georgia deserves to have somebody who has the experience at the national level, advancing the right policies for the country. And one of the things I was blessed with, too, is, I also served as a White House fellow after my time in the military, and I was part of the team that got the criminal justice reform bill.
It's a strong resume, man. I'm feeling a little insecure here.
No, man. I mean,
I played Call of Duty recently.
A resume, look, I will say, though, I mean, a resume doesn't matter. I mean, the practical experience matters. And one of the pieces of my candidacy that's unique is, I mean, I'm the youngest person in this race by far, but I'm able to make the case, John, that I'm the most experienced, even though I'm the youngest.
So, and it's the kind of experience people want. I'm tired of politicians.
Exactly.
I don't trust them as a general rule. I see stagnation in the Republican Party, doing nothing, which makes me think you're bought. And then I see the Democrats who are obviously bought. I don't look at them as having a constituency. I see them as having investors.
Yeah. Well said. Well said. And that's what we're up against. But I'll tell you, on a positive note, John, everywhere we go, people are so fired up to see a young, country-first, conservative, national security guy running for this seat.
I'm ticked off. I'm ticked off. I want my country back.
Yeah, amen. And everybody does. And we need fighters to get up there and get in office and fight for this country in Washington, the real battleground right now. And it's my goal with this campaign to bust open the gates, John, for other country-first, authentic leaders to get uncomfortable, step into this arena, and serve your country. I mean, this is not an attractive arena for veterans to jump into, but we got to do it. And that's the mission of my campaign. And at the end of it, candidly, my victory speech is going to be a call to service. Awesome. I mean, I'm going to get up there and I'm going to say, hey, if you love this country and you're a patriot and you've ever thought about serving in public office, get uncomfortable and step into it. And you don't have to sell your soul. You don't have to kiss rings. You don't have to sell out. I just proved that. And that's the mission of my campaign, because one person is not going to fix this country. Right. We need a mass influx of patriots to get up there in Washington who aren't politicians.
That's practical. I like that. You mentioned security. Mm-hmm. You mentioned Trump. You mentioned Biden. Let's pull it all together. As a security expert, Biden has challenged Trump to multiple fistfights. How do you think that would go down as a security expert?
I'd be concerned about Joe Biden's security. I already am, based on the way he operates without a fist fight.
No weapons, no security guards. It's just Biden gets his wish, and they just duke it out behind the bleachers at halftime.
Yeah, well, I'd love a front row seat at that. I'll referee the damn thing.
Totally buy tickets. Latham, hey, thanks so much.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much, and appreciate all your viewers. And hey, come support the mission at LathamSaddler.com. It makes a huge difference. Warnock's out there raising millions. I don't care if it's $10. Please sign online and help us out. Support the mission at LathamSaddler.com.
Links down below. The person who spends the most on the election generally gets elected. Is that correct?
That's the case. So we got to compete with him, and the left is fueling his campaign.
Yep.
Yep.
Thanks, man.
Let's go win the country back.
Yeah. How you feeling about America right now, man?
I think it's a time right now.
That's bad. Bad. What irritates you the most when you're looking at all the media, the fear-mongering? Some of it's valid, and maybe some of it's not as valid. What's the stuff that irritates you the most?
Yeah, we don't know what we don't know. I mean, if you look at the news media in any given network, every week there's something different. And it's sometimes it's okay to say that we don't know. Sometimes it's okay to say let's come back to the table when we have more information. But the misinformation is probably the most irritating.
Yep, that resonates. If you put all the politicians, Republican, Democrat, all of them in a room, what percentage of those people do you trust?
2.
Think they're all bought and paid for?
They're crooked on the left and they're do nothing on the right. We just need term limits. Got to be able to flush the toilet every now and then and get rid of a bunch of them.
How else would you fix America right now? What would you do? What's some of the biggest stuff, the biggest sector we need to hone in on?
Education.
Education?
1,000%.
What's that look like?
So
no one said education, but man, I agree. And it's not that it's such a big deal right now, but it's going to be the biggest deal in 10, 15 years.
Well, so what I would say is education, that's reflective of where the country is heading, one, right? So baseline education, but also looking at very simple things. I mean, VOTEC. Like, we should exalt the vocational trades. These guys should be lifted up. I mean, if you think about it, they build our houses, they run the electrical wiring, they keep us comfortable when we go home. They fix everything. They keep the country moving. It's the bread and butter. And so you take that and then you go into the housing industry. From the housing industry, you got the baseline of our economy. It's the #1 purchase that you make in your entire life. Once you buy a house, it's the key to financial stability. It's the first step towards financial stability. So I think our general education and kind of the liberal arts education should also be blended into VOTEC. And it should be encouraged.
How would you change it? How would you fix it? It looks like a mess.
No question about it. First and foremost, I think we need to protect our borders. We need to get things, put some steps back in place that were put in place with the previous administration. And by doing those things, I think we can start getting this country moving back in the right direction, putting America first, doing what we need to do, protecting our citizens, and again, real working together, figuring things out. Crime is a mess, and there's a lot of talk, but there's not a lot of action.
Every time I look at the media, I see like a myriad of different crises going on. Crises going on.
More than one.
What are some of the top ones in your opinion right now? What's the major stuff?
Right now, border security.
Okay.
That's a big one for us. I am a full believer in legal immigration. This is a great country, and I'd love to share it with people. But there's a way we do things, and it's for a reason. And the biggest concern is not the immigration side; it's the security of the southern border right now, and the stuff Texas is going for.
What are some other huge internal threats facing America right now?
Well, I think the military in general. I think the leadership in the military is far from where it needs to be. I think that Milley, in particular, is way too liberal, and his agenda is really more of. Well, and to me, it's really more about the way the generals, when they get out, they all generally go to work for a military contractor. So you wonder why these never-ending wars continue, because their little pet arms projects keep going through the Boeings, the Lockheeds, the Martins. They just keep moving through, and then their people that they've pulled through the military, they're 3 stars, 2 stars. Well, they're going to do exactly what's been in the pipeline that their mentor, who's drug them through the system, is asking them to do. So, I mean, the whole system to me, a general should not be able to go to work for a military contract where he's had influence in the past to then influence them on arms deals or weapon systems that he then gets paid $1 million, $2 million a year to be an advisor for the government, because the government is using his expertise to continue to perpetuate those systems.
Everything looks just like dirty money to me. It just all looks like dirty money.
It is dirty money. I mean, it is what it is.
You mentioned poor leadership within the upper echelons of our armed services. You mentioned the China threat. How would you fix that and some other major crises?
Well, let's go backwards and let's answer the first. Let's take the second question first. How do you fix the military issue? Well, one, the amount of time they send these officers back to school to get MBAs, and just the sheer amount of time they have to spend in the university system. Most of these guys now are super liberal. All of these nation buildings, all of these types of programs that are not working are things that came out of these liberal institutions that they tried to, help democracy, quote unquote. And then basically all you did was you go in, you blow up a major infrastructure project, and then we turn around, we send American contractors in to fix it, and then the military, all they're really doing is protecting those contractors. So the people that are getting killed, the American troops that are getting killed, are protecting American contractors, the stuff we've already blown up to rebuild, thinking that that's going to make the country that we're rebuilding like us, and they don't like us. They hate us. They don't want us there anyway. They view us as occupiers, and they want us out. So that's got to stop, and you've got to quit allowing these woke generals that have been they've been brainwashed at these universities, and then they come back with these stupid ideas, and then they institutionalize it into the groups coming through, the new officers coming up behind them. And so you have what you have. You've got a cadre of generals and admirals that are super liberal that are killing us. And I just, I hate to see that, because that's not the way it should be. And they monetize, they now, just like the presidents and everybody else, they monetize that position when they get out, and they make a fortune when they get out. And that has led to the situations that we're in, I think.
How do we fix this mess? How do we fix America and get it back on track?
Yeah, it's tough, when you don't have term limits, and it's tough when these politicians get in there and just ruin everything and to destroy the country. It's pretty bad. The division right now is nothing I've ever seen before.
Very good. Do you think the current administration is actually working to reduce division?
No, nobody knows. Everybody knows that that's not happening. Everything's designed to divide right now. It's just all you have to do is watch it for a minute and pay attention.
Are you going to win the shooting competition?
Absolutely, no question about it. We got the best team.
Because somebody else said that they were, and both of you can't be right.
Well, that's why I'm here, so I know I'm right.
So they're a liar.
I won't call them a liar. I'll just say that they're...
I'll call them a liar right now. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed this video. We're a wrap, not just because we're done shooting, but because Georgia weather said it was done. Look at my pants here. So our video is over. Guys, thanks so much for tuning in. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, all that stuff. Train hard, train smart, and for the love of God, stay free. See you guys.
I'm Craig Douglas from ShivWorks, and this is the reality of criminal assault.